Hey guys, it's Miss Hall. I'm the art teacher at East York and Yorkshire Elementary Schools. And this week we're going to continue our conversation about compound shapes or taking simple shapes and putting them together. Before we talked about how to draw animals using shapes, then we talked about how to draw people. Now we're going to talk about how to draw places, and you're going to get to design your own place. You're actually going to get to design your very own city. And what I love about this is once you get past the shapes, then you can really turn it into whatever you want. If you want your whole city to be made out of candy, cool. Do you want your whole city to be underwater? Great, awesome. Make it what you like. What we'll do is we'll start by using just simple rectangles to create the buildings. Then you'll use smaller rectangles to create the doors and windows and the signs, whatever you'd like your street to be made up of. I chose to include some of my favorite things. So I have a pet shop, I have an art supply store, I have a movie theater, I have a couple of really fun colorful houses. You can put whatever you want. You can put a bakery, candy store, ice cream shop. Can you tell I really like ice cream? So, let's jump in. Oh, before I forget, let's not forget to, when you finish, you need to make sure that you upload you and your final drawing to our group Flipgrid. That way we can see what you made and I can shoot you a comment. Now, let's jump in.
So now that I have my street in place, now I can start adding in my buildings. And it's really, really simple because for your buildings, all you're going to do is draw rectangles. And you want to draw rectangles that are all different sizes. If it's helpful to you, you can find things around your house that are rectangular or square, and you can trace those, and that would work just great. I'm just going to draw mine. I'll use my ruler just because I like the way that looks. I think it makes it look nice and clean. So I'm going to start, and I'll make some really tall and some really short. And what's nice is that you can just kind of draw those straight lines up, and then I'll show you how we're going to turn those into a building. You want to kind of just check every time, make sure that none of them are like super crooked, because that would be a bummer. I'm going to make this one really skinny. And then that one will be nice and wide. All right, so now I've got my straight lines going up, and you might be thinking, how's she going to turn that into a building? Let me show you. So now I'm just going to go across the top. Now I've got a rectangle. I'll do the same thing down here. That was a little bit smaller. Here's a little bit of a taller one. This one's really skinny. I like one that's a little bit smaller right here. And I'll add a smaller one here as well. All right, so now I have the buildings for my street, and now I get to go in and use shapes yet again to add the details for them. So let's think about this. I want a sidewalk, so I'm going to do another little line, and that'll be the sidewalk, and then right below that will be the road. And now let's think, what do all of my buildings need? And I can think about what I want them all to be. So all of them are going to need doors, so I can do some that have really, really big doors. So I'm going to use a rectangle for this door, and I'm going to put a little rectangle right here to show that you have to step into it. Maybe this one has steps that lead up to it, so I'm going to do rectangles that get smaller and smaller, and that's going to come up to the door. Maybe this one's more of like a store. And then I'll also use rectangles to go in and add the windows as well, because all of these buildings are going to need windows so that you can see out of them. All right, so I just finished on my drawing. I used lots of different rectangles, circles, lots of different shapes. And what I did was I started with those big rectangles to create the buildings. And then I went in and I decided, if I could create my own street, what would be on the street? What buildings would there be? So I have here an art supply store. I have a house that has a cool like rooftop garden. I put a movie theater, I put the offices for the Food Network because that is my favorite channel to watch. I put another cute little house, and then this store right here is a pet store. And then I thought, wouldn't it be cool if I name this street and I name this town so I have a little plane flying by with a sign that says "Welcome to Hollywood." Get it? Because I'm Miss Hall in Hollywood. Uh-huh. So now that I have all of my details in there, and I made sure that every single building has doors, has windows, has details. You could add people in the windows. You could add animals walking by, totally up to you. Now that I've added all those details, I'm going to use some Sharpies and trace over it. If you have a skinny Sharpie or a pen, you can trace over some of the smaller details as well.